Hello everyone, right now I'm doing lab 2 part 1. So for part 1, the estimated waveform for output Q is as follows, where at the rising edge of clock, the output Q waveform will follow the shape of input D, and it's the same as this one. When the rising edge, when clock is at the rising edge, the output Q will follow the waveform of input D, and exactly the same as the prototyping board here. When both D and clock is 1, the output Q here will be 1 as well, exactly like the graph. But when clock goes to 0 while input D remains at 1, the graph of Q should remain the same. So let's try. Clock goes to 0, the output Q will remain at 1. But when clock is at the rising edge here and input D is at 0, Q should drop to 0. So when clock is 1 and D is 0, the output Q will be 0. Exactly like this graph. So when there's no rising edge of clock, but when D is at 1, like this, the output Q will remain 0. Exactly like this graph. So it doesn't matter if you put 1 or 0, the output Q will remain 0 if there's no rising edge of clock here. So lastly, at this graph here, let's try it out again. When both D and clock is 1, the output Q should be 1 as well. There you go. D 1 and clock 1. The output Q will be 1 as well. Everyone, I am doing lab 2 part 2. The expected waveform for the circuit shown is as follows, where at the rising edge of clock, Q will change its state to 1, and exactly as the rest of it, at the rising edge here, Q will change to 0, and here again at the rising edge, it will change its state to 1. And after confirming my prediction using an oscilloscope, the result is the same. As you can see here, this is clock and this is the output Q. And our frequency that we get is 250 kilohertz. And I'm doing lab 2 part 3. Right now the input is 0, but once I switch it on, one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and right back to 1. Right now, I'm doing lab 2, part 4. So, there are 4 possible light patterns available, which is like this: A, B, C, and D. So my estimation here, when I put 001 will be like this, and then 010 will be like this, 011 will be like this, and 4 like this, 5, 6 are like these. Okay, let's try it on the prototype board then. Okay, here at the die module here, it will follow the shape exactly like what I estimated here. First one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the last one, 6. Okay. Hello. So right now I'm doing Lab 2 Part 5, which is the combination of Part 3 and also Part 4. So here it goes. As you can see here, the input now is high and the output will be as follow. It goes like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and right back to 1.